Hello and good morning, everyone. Myself, Shakti, I'm a member of Developers Students Club, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, College of Engineering, Pune. We'll wait for a few minutes to let everyone join, then we would proceed with our event. So now we are ready to get started. Again, hello everyone and welcome to our event, Ode to Code. Ode to Code is a 36 to 40 hour long hackathon being organized by Developer Students Club, BVP Pune. Developer Students Club, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth Deemed University, College of Engineering, Pune, established in February 2019, is a Google Developers Program for university students to learn skills in the domain of mobile development, web development, machine learning, and cloud. The club are open to any student ranging from developers who are just starting to advanced developers who want to further their skills. So now moving ahead, I would love to make our audience aware about our ongoing event, Ode to Code. Ode to Code is a collectively effort of designers and developers to code, plan, and assemble the creative combinations that tackle certifiable issues, a great and engaging opportunity that will give tremendous insight on how to come up with innovative ideas. These are the topics provided on which you can think of building a website, code to change the view, or different designs. It gives a view of self-articulation and intervenes through innovations. Ode to Code is your place to grow your abilities and come up with something innovative, fun, and marvelous. So today we have most of our audience who are interested in technologies and machines. So it's basically when humans got tired of learning new things, they made machines. And now we humans, we are busy on social media. And so machines are learning. So machine learning is basically a process or field for building algorithms which generate an intelligence based on data and patterns. It is simply how computers think through and execute a task without being programmed to. So today we have with us our speaker Harsha, who would be covering about machine learning, just to the start of machine learning, and we will also have a Q&A with him on career advice and machine and how to have career in machine learning particularly. Welcome, Harsha.
Hi, thanks, Shakti.
I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Before I introduce, can you confirm if everything is fine from my side? Can you hear me properly?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi guys, this is Harsha. I'm right now working at Microsoft as an SDE. It's been like 6-7 months me into the company, and it's been a wonderful ride so far. So here I am today just to telling something apart from these. I also own a community called as Right Now, wherein we discuss about various technical topics, conduct challenges. So that's in the initial stages, and I would definitely like you to check that out. So apart from this, I also do several sessions like these on across various campuses, and today I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be taking up a topic on Hello World of ML, which is just getting started with ML. So anyone who the correct audience for this is that anyone who is interested in ML but don't know where to start, maybe this will be your starting point. So that's about me.
Okay, so you can start with your presentation.
Definitely. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, hello world to ML. This is a presentation for all the beginners in ML who wants to continue uh, their career probably in this. Let's see where how it goes on. So let me start. So why should you listen to me? So first thing, I worked on a research project which uses various ML concepts during my college time. It's called as Amuda Lab. So I talk about it a lot outside as well. It's called Amrita Multidimensional Data Analytics Labs, which is a lab at my college where we work on ambient sensing and which involved a lot of ML concepts to figure out and solve a lot of problems. So maybe that could interest you. I got to get my hands dirty on NLP, so which is also like a part of MLP is also coinciding with ML and AI. So at Microsoft, I worked at a team which uses ML to a great extent. And third is my personal interest. I love solving ML problems. So I have started this journey recently only. It's not like from my third year or something I was full on to ML, but then this started. I got interested more into this and I'm starting it. So definitely I can relate to anyone who is also starting with this. And this is a poor joke, but then yeah, this is a speaker, but that doesn't look very great, so let's just remove that. So these three are the top three reasons why I want to take this topic to you. So starting with ML. So what is ML? So as the speak like as you have already heard of ML in various sources, probably it's just there are multiple definitions to it, but let us just generalize them, saying that ML is something you want, with a given experience. With the increase in experience for a machine, it should be able to make better decision. So basically machine should be able to learn with more experience for it. So you show more data, it will be better at guessing things. So that's vague kind of definition with ML, but you could start with that. So this is the graph basically. So these are different fields in that, maybe you can say, and then you can see that NLP is having some common area with ML and DL. So which is machine learning and deep learning, and it's a part of AI, you can say that. So this is DS is something different. It's not data science, it's called decision scheming, like you can leave that. And data is a new oil. Why I would say this? Because right now if you see like with the IoT and all such, extensive things happening all around, Google Assistant or Cortana or Alexa, or everything, even your phone generates a lot, tons of data. Even your TV also generates a lot of data if it's a smart TV. So everywhere the data is being produced with more interconnection, like you can turn on your AC with your mobile, and with the various lot of IoT applications, data is constantly being generated. And that's why data is also called as a new oil. And there are four different types of data. So when you're talking about data sets, basically I told you that you show more data to a machine and it works optimally on that, then it has to be able to make better decisions, right? So basically for that, you need to feed in data, and there are four different types of data. These are the four different types: numeric data, categorical data, time series data, and text data. So let's go to let me just give an example of this. Wait, let a minute. What happened to this? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is numerical data, which is basically in numbers, and definitely machines love numbers because it's the most easiest for them to digest in. And then it's categorical data. So if you say that a man and a woman, machine might not understand. So again, you have to map them to something like 0001 or something like that. So otherwise, you can say that 10 is men and 01 is woman, something like that. 01 is woman. So basically you also have to map that to numbers. And there's also time series data, which is basically a series of data in time which you want to work upon. So probably it could be a reading from a sensor, which is also time series, right? So that is the different types of data. So it basically has a timestamp and it has data related to that. So and then there is text data, which is mostly used in NLP. um, By using NLP techniques, you try to get data out of it as well, like get it into a state where machine can understand that. So these text data are basically everything, like the blog you write, the LinkedIn post you post, um, or the Google Assistant which talks with you, or you talk with Google Assistant, all everything which involves some text. Basically it's all text data. So these are four different main types of data which you will encounter when you're starting with ML. But the thing is, machine doesn't know Harsha, so it only knows if Harsha is 0 1 or 1 0 or 0 0 or 1 1 or anything for that matter. It basically knows only numbers, but it doesn't know if it is Harsha, or if it is Tarun, or anyone for that matter. So it doesn't know text, so you have to tell that this means this, so you have to map it yourself, or you have to tell that you have to map it before you process it to the machine itself. And the first thing is you would probably want to do is you first get the data. So you will just basically get the data, and then you do some pre-processing, which is like cleaning data. If there are any missing data, you might, if there are majority of the data points are missing, then you just discard that entire row. Otherwise you would try to fit in saying that these are the other datas in this range, and maybe I want to take an average of it and put it in that. So this is how you will clean your data. And say for example, you're saying probably you are dealing with some data, the range is only from 0 to 1, but then your system has got a -1 in it or a +2 in it, which is obviously not correct. So what you want to do is you want to discard the entire row of data. So that is all comes under pre-processing of the data, and then you will select a model. So one that is, this is the part which I'm telling you, selection of an ML model. So let me, where is that? Yeah. So linear and logistic regressions, these are one type. This could, like, I'm just giving you some examples of models. And then there could be decision trees. There could be k nearest neighbors, and then k means, which is like clustering, which are a lot more. So there are different types of models which you want to choose from, and it depends upon one use case to one other use case. Maybe for me, linear and logistic will do for me, but for you have to go to decision trees. And if you talk directly, mostly you have two different types of problems in machine learning. One is called as regression, and the second one is called as classification. And regression is that what's the temperature going to be. So it's a continuous value, and you want to predict that continuous value. It could be 25.6 or 25.7, or you want 36.7. So it's a continuous data, so that is called regression. And there is classification, which is like, is it a cat or a dog. So I took a photo, and is it a cat or a dog. It's a classification kind of data. So I give you a photo and you want to do it. Otherwise, in the demo also, we are going to see that how you can recognize all the handwritten digits. So if I write 1 2 3, it will detect that this is 1 and this is 2 and this is 3. So which digit is it? It's also categorical, but it's not so regression is continuous data, but this is categorical data. So these two have different sets of models, and I'm just giving you a few examples to start with. You can go ahead and explore what's a linear and logistic regression. Logistic regression deals with probabilities, which we will see in a moment. And then decision trees, wherein you want to, that's also used to solve classification kind of problems. And then k nearest neighbors, k means there are a lot of clustering algorithms. So basically these are all different ML models. So what I'm trying to do is, you don't have to understand and keep in mind about different algorithms, but then having an overview of them, you can directly Google and find all of these algorithms and how they are implemented and all that. But basically what I want to share with you today is, how you can understand things, how you can what's a general flow in an ML model, like entire ML process, while from scratch to an end product, what are the things that happen in between. So FitTrain, so what you do now, you have the data, you have cleaned it, and then now you have selected a model also. Now what you want to do, you want to train that model with your data. So that is what is called as fitting or training. So this is fit and training. And after that, what you do, you will validate it. You will say that I am doing the so I have done so and so thing, and how good is my model. So that's why what you do is, you'll have testing and training set. You'll have entire data in first, say for example, and then you will divide that into testing and training. So for training, this training data is used for making the model learn it. So this is used it, and how good it has learned, so that is by test. This is like having maybe your homeworks. So you will learn it, not just homeworks, basically your classes, basically you can say. There you get trained, and to test how much you have learned, you write your exams. So that is testing. So basically what you do is, for the entire given data, you will split them into testing and training, and on training you will train the model, and the resulting model you will use it for testing. So don't worry if it is still going over your head, because we will see a demo for it, and that might clear up most of the things for you. Okay, so, and after validating, what do we do? Fit train again, validate again, fit train again. So this seems to be a loop, right? Again validate. So this is not a bug, basically. So that is what you do. Yeah, you fit train. So it's like a cycle. So once you have decided on your model, there are different set of parameters which you can set. So you first train it, and then you will validate if it has learned correctly. This In this stage you will use the test data also. So you will train it, you will validate it. No, it is not doing good enough. Then again you train it, again you validate it. So this is a cycle that it forms. Yeah, so sorry for that, I had to give something out of this room. So this is a cycle which you have to follow. Like you train something, and then you validate, has it learned enough. And if it hasn't learned enough, there are some parameters like accuracy, precision, recall, and all that. You see it there and saying that it hasn't learned what I wanted to learn. But then you will give in more data, or and even this validating, it's not basically one single test. So it's not so what I told you is, like, there is some data, and you will split that data into test and train, right? So maybe it is well trained on train, but it is not doing good on testing. So what you are doing is that probably it was not a clear or a correct division of your data. So then what you do is that, say for example, you have this is your entire data that you have. Imagine that it's a piece, it's an entire list of data, and you're saying that I'll use this part as testing, and this past this part for testing, and I'll say this part I'll use it for training. So now it's not there's various way of validating it. So maybe it is not working for it, but it might work if I cut it at a different level. Maybe this part, if I do it for testing and the remaining for training, maybe it would have done better. So what we do generally to test the model, to validate a model, is that you call something called as k-fold. You can just say that if it's k is equal to 10, okay, which means that for my entire data I will cut into 10 parts. And what I'll do is, one part I'll reserve it for testing, and for the remaining 9 I will train my data, and I'll validate using this part, and I'll have some measure for it, and I'll store it. And then I'll clean up all the learning, and then I'll say that the second part is used for testing, and the remaining I use for training. And then again I'll compute some score. And after that, this third part I'll say that, and then I'll ask you to unlearn everything, and then I'll say that use this part for testing and the remaining for that. So what happens is that on every chunk you will say that this chunk will act as testing, and the remaining data will be used for training. So this way you do it for every chunk. So that, and the number of chunks depends on that k value. And a small demo, I don't know if you are familiar with the word kuti. Kuti means in Tamil small. So let me share that as well. Yeah, so basically here we are trying to do, what we are trying to do is we want to recognize digits using logistic regression. So you can imagine it in a way that this is an online example that I took in. So I didn't write it from scratch, but I just took it so that I can show it to you. So sklearn is a So basically, first of all, this is called as collab. So you can go to collab.research.google.com, and Google Collab, you can search on Google and you'll get it. So not only this is for online, and you also have Jupyter notebooks online. Otherwise, you can download Anaconda in the local, and you can run it in local as well. So these are different things. So first, what I'm trying to do is this first part of it. Are you able to see my screen correctly? Yeah. Okay. So sklearn datasets, I'm trying to import datasets. So let me also open one more thing. Da-da-da-da-dum. It's taking some time to load. Yeah. Okay. So now this allows me to draw. That's why. Okay. So this part of it, it's used for loading digits. So load digits is a data set. So this basically this right here is allowing me to do that. Let me change it, the opacity. So this part of it is for allowing me to import data sets, and then this is just for loading all the digits. And then I'm asking you to show how many, what's the shape of image and also the size. So these are the different images that it has on which I can train my data on. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to show you some. I'm just trying you to show. Yeah, these are the different training, like training examples. This is how the data set looks like. So it will give you all the images in this format, and you want your machine to detect when a new thing is done. So when a new thing is given, so what I'm doing is I'm doing a train test split, which is like digits.data is that images, and these are target are the values. So for this 5, it will be like 0 1 2 3 4. You can see that in the training, like 1 2 3 4. So now we are just randomly splitting it, and we are saying 0.25 means that it is 25%, uh, 25% of test data. So here we are not using the k-fold, we are just going with the normal test train split. So here I am saying that this is the training and this is the for testing, and these are the for training, these are the labels. So 0 1 2 3, these are the labels for these images. So these are the labels for training and these are the labels for testing. And then a scalar linear model, we are just trying to import logistic regression, and we are creating an object. So for those who are familiar with Python, it is much simpler. Otherwise, this is the way you instantiate an object of a class. So logistic regression, we are importing it here, and we are instantiating it over here. And once you click on help of logistic regression, it has a very good description on how you want to use it. You can go through it later. But basically, what it will tell you is that how you can make use of this object. And a dir of logistic regression will tell you all the available parameters that are like available functions which are in that, and variables. So here I'm telling that I told you, right, we'll train it. So this is basically fitting it on X train and Y train. So once we have trained on it, we are going to predict it. So this is for a single thing. It has said that it is 2. So in the X dot text, for the first image I have given the first image, and I asked this model to predict it, and it has said that it is 2, and it is indeed 2. So I am trying to show again the X text of 0, and this is just the image size, and then there's a CMAP, and in this way it is saying that it is 2, and our classifier also predicted it as 2. And in this way I'm just trying to predict for entire 25% that I have split it from the main data set, and I'm just trying to understand what's the score, like what percentage it got correctly. And it says that 95.1% it has got the predictions correct. So now that depends, like if you're going to give more data and you try to give better examples or different types of modulations in 2, maybe you want to write it as this 2, or a bigger 2 or a squiggly 2. Yeah, it depends on different on the type of data this model is getting trained upon. And it says that 95.1 percentage it is sure, like when, or if you're giving a new image, 95.1 percentage it is correct. So that's the probability of it being correct. So, and these are the entire prediction. So it's saying that these are the different things, 2 8 3 4 and all that. So yes, so this is the demo part of it. Let me try to go back, and that's a wrap about starting to ML. Sorry, I didn't add that. That's a starting order. So what do? Just get the data, clean it, make it ready, and then you will just go ahead and choose a model. And for model also there are different parameters. For right now we have just given the default parameters, but then you can also suggest like for every set of for every model there are a set of parameters which you can set, so that you can increase the probability, like you can increase the accuracy basically. So what set of parameters are important, like what set of parameters are the ideal parameters, that comes either by intuition or by something called as grid search, wherein like you do an exhaustive search of all possible parameters, and then you will see, you will compare which set of parameters are giving better values, and then you will go ahead with that on your deployment. And how to deploy an ML model is for another day, because it definitely doesn't come under beginning to ML. But then to give an overview, what you do is you probably put, it's Python, right? So you'll just write a Flask API. Probably you will train it priorly itself, and you will save it. You can save a model as pickle file, and then you will load it. Like if someone asks for it, you won't train again, you will just load that. So that pickle file will have all the parameters and what the learning will be there in that pickle file basically. And once that is there, it'll be quicker just to load them instead of training again. So when a new data set is coming, it will hit the API. Basically a new data point is coming, it will hit the API, and then it will load that model from the pickle file. It will try to predict it, and it will respond to it. So you'll write a Flask API, push it to probably Docker or something, and then you can host it on various cloud platforms, and then you can connect it to UI as well. So that's a wrap about ML. If you have any questions, we can go ahead with that, and then I'll start on my I'll give some tips about resume as well. Yes, Shakti.
Okay, thank you, Harsha. Now, I would request our audience to put their questions or comments in the comment box. Till then, I have some general questions that everyone have related to ML. I would be asking to you. Okay, dimensionality reduction versus data augmentation. How can they help with my ML data set?
See, dimensionality reduction is when you have a lot of features and you don't know what to focus upon. So there are multiple features and I want to train upon it, but then I don't know, like, is this particular feature is efficient on the result? So if even if I remove this column, basically a column in my data set, is it making no much difference? Or in fact, because of this, my decision making is getting disturbed, or it is not going to be effective if I include this. So what you do is, and mostly it is the case that you need to cut down your data and you don't want to have unnecessary fields. So what you do is dimensionality reduction, and then you will say that these are the top 5 features which will impact my result more. And then okay, and then I'll say that on these fields only I'm going to uh, yeah, so only on these fields I'll be preparing a model. So that is all dimensionality reduction. And data augmentation is again, um, it's an how you want to augment your data. So basically, how do I say that? So you can, it doesn't definitely come under this thing. I think if I put it that right now, then it'll confuse most of them. So let us leave it there, but let's start with the flow of it, and then
Okay.
you can go
So we
ahead.
have one comment. We have one question in the comment box. I'll be showing it on the screen. Okay,
Yeah.
it's from James Watson. Hey Harsha, so I wasn't able to find a data set for a project which I want to solve using machine learning. How can I go ahead and curate my own data set?
First of all, I'm not sure if you have seen an entire thing. So, James, what I would suggest you to do is there are certain Google data sets available. So you probably might want to search there. If not, you can also have different data sets online. You can go ahead and do it. But I mostly use it from Google data sets. That's why I'm just saying that. So if you want to do ahead and you want to curate your own data set, then the only way you can do it is by doing your own experiment. So for me, when I was working at Amuda, I want to create the data set because ours is it's not a generic problem, it's a specific problem, and we don't have any data set just as you. So what we try to do it is we try to map it. So basically we were working on hospitals, so and we were not able to go to a hospital to do it. So we find a similar situation like wherein teachers, basically what happens is that teacher appointment system. So that way we correlated that a doctor appointment system with a teacher appointment system, and we are trying to solve for this so that we can map this solution to that later on. So the only way you can curate your own data set, don't put your fake values, then your model will also be fake. So you have to create your own experiment in a real time basis, and you have to record it from that. And for that you need a lot of equipment, basically IoT device, sensors, and all that stuff. If you want to do it in that way, like if your data set is related to sensors, and if you want to I know people who have worked on how many more days this apple I can use. So for that they have clicked their own thermal imaging, they have a thermal imaging tool, and then they click thermal images of that, and then they use it for the training. So there's no way, there's no one particular way in which you have to curate. It depends upon use case to use case, but basically you have to do it again. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, Next question I would be asking, how to look for internship in FANG companies in the field of ML if the person is not from tier 1 or tier 2 colleges. So how can they grab the opportunities?
Okay. So if it's tied to diamond, doesn't matter. But then if you want to do it off campus, the only two ways that I see is either by going to careers website of them. If it's Microsoft, you just go to careers.microsoft.com, and then you will try to filter based on your thing, and then you'll put a job alert saying that if this criteria is matched, you send me a mail, and that's how you'll get to know about know about new things. And there are some particular things, there is something called as MIP, Microsoft Internship Program, which you want to look about. Otherwise, there's Engage program, and there is what else is called? There's startups, Microsoft startups, which can also lead you to a job in Microsoft. So there are different ways you have to research. I know only for Microsoft, so there could be similar ones for other companies that you mentioned. Basically, all companies are fine. So you have to go ahead and research it. There are a lot of blogs which are being written on every company. You can go through them and understand them. And if on coming to the LinkedIn part of it, you can just go to the LinkedIn profile of that company, and then in that you'll have a job section. So you go to that, and then you can try to figure out which what are the opening jobs, and you can fill it directly from there as well.
Okay, thank you, Harsha. So if next question is, if someone is just beginning out with machine learning, what are some good opportunities that she can be aware of?
Opportunities. So definitely, like even if you want to GSOC Google Summer of Code, even there you can work on different machine learning problems. Otherwise, you can start just seeing on GitHub open issues, and you want to work up on an ML project. So search for ML GitHub repositories and see that if they need some help. So that way you can also improve your GitHub profile as well as help others, and that's how you build community. And also you can have your buddies. So I'm just telling you, these are not opportunities exactly, but GSOC is definitely one such opportunity where I've seen people going there and working that, like working on ML, and there have multiple mentors also. Yeah, so that's it about it. You just have to. And also there are a lot of, on HackerEarth you have a lot of um, hackathons going in ML field as well. You can go ahead and sign up for them, and that will be a good add to your resume.
Okay, so I have one more doubt, that if I start with just ML, so what are most reliable sites? Like I should go with YouTube videos or the paid courses, which is more reliable?
Okay. So I would definitely say you don't go haphazard, like then you will go into this loop of tutorials one after the other. So probably I can suggest you some paths. Maybe you can share it with them in the after that. So and there are beautiful GitHub profiles, and there are some well-known learning paths for ML, which I am myself am following that. So I'll just share it with you post this call, and you can share it with them.
Okay,
So basically
thank
have a
you.
plan,
There's
and
one.
then have a timeline, and then go according to that.
Okay, we have one more question. It's from James Watson only. I want to get started with writing my first ML code. Courses I viewed seem more about theoretical knowledge and less with practical knowledge. What are some resources to get me started practically?
Again, then this is the same question I just started. For machine learning problems, you can definitely go to Analytics Vidya. It's a very good website for that, and also for data sets. What is this website? How can I forget this? 1 minute. Yeah. So basically, for your some resources which you have asked, right? Definitely search for courses which have a project related to that. Otherwise, you can take your own interest and start with some different domain. Basically, not domain. Basically, you can ML is very broad, as I have shown in the PPT. So understand that specific domain which you are more interested in, and then dig deep into it, and definitely doing projects in between that. So obviously, if it's NLP, you can start building a chatbot. If it's a classification algorithm, like you can start making an app which can detect objects. So that way, pick up a thing and then go to relevant. Even YouTube is fine for that. Just understand in which way. So there is no particular channel which I would recommend. There are multiple things. If you want to start with the basics, then StatQuest is an amazing channel if you want to learn the basics of ML. So you can use that. And it just comes by experience. You just keep solving different problems and you'll understand the different methods in which you can solve in ML. So but theory is also very much important. The maths behind it is also important.
Okay, so next question is from Shivraj Sinha. What are some good platforms where I can practice machine learning problems as a beginner?
Kaggle. Just go to kaggle.com and then go ahead and participate in multiple. There are multiple competitions every time running over there. Go to Kaggle and you can practice machine learning problems. Even there, you can do it as a beginner. It's not that only pros are for it.
Thank you, Harsha, for answering all the doubts on machine learning. I'll display more questions if we have in coming box. So moving ahead, you are also here to discuss about career advices. So basically, in my view, today most important is CV or resume. That that helps you to get a good career in life. So I would like to ask you what should be how long should be our CV or resume, and what should be the key points that we should introduce in our CV or resume.
Okay, I'm just pulling up a different presentation. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Shakti, can you present it? Yeah. So this entirely is for. So this is a process. Maybe you can just. This is pretty standard process which I was given. Yeah, resume making skills. This is what we want to discuss right now. And let me where is that? Where is that? Okay. So what are important things in resume? So definitely you need to have good DSA and projects. So any FANG company for that matter, they concentrate a lot in your projects so that they understand that how good are you at implementing stuff. And obviously any FANG or any big MNC for that matter, a DSA is their way to go to select or shortlist people. So these two are the things that you need to keep in mind, that your interest lies in like you have your own interest, but then you need to be very good at DSA. So be proficient, I would say. Like, I'm not saying that you need to do competitive programming, but if you are doing competitive programming, then it's good and great. You will have an edge over others. But then be solid in your DSA and have very good projects. So that is one thing. Adding credibility. So if you have a skill saying that your interest lies in UI, so just don't say that UI is your interest, so React or Angular. So also mention a project which you have done using that. So this way it says that you are not just mentioning the skills, but you also have a backing up saying that, hey, I didn't just go through a Udemy course on React, but I also developed my portfolio website, and this is the link you can go and check. So that's the kind of credibility which you need to have in your resume. And this is a backing up which I was talking about. So once your skills start backing up your skills are having a backup of your projects, saying that, hey, this is a proof that I know this and I'm not faking up on this resume. So that will add a lot more sense. There are a few more tips which I want to give you, but I'm just not able to get that. Why is this happening? Yes. Nope. Okay, no problem. So what I wanted to say is that for every company, you are an asset basically. So what you want to do is that you want them to understand your value. So that's why you want to have your own skills and resume. And in the resume also, don't have it like too much clutter, because at that time then he might not see the asset in you. So have a simple plain resume, and then plain resume in sense you can have some formatting in that. I can share you my resume for reference. I made it some time back, but then it's still valid to some extent. But then I just had a two column resume wherein like I'll have a majority of that on my education and what are my projects that I worked on, what are my previous experiences. Experience doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have internships, but then the experience which you had, maybe for me it was like my Amuda lab which I worked upon, so that's also an experience which I had it upon. So Amuda lab which I'm talking about is a research lab which I was working in. So you can have, if you have something like that. And coming to your achievements, so portion, just don't have your least important achievement at the top, because then the interviewer gets into the mind that so and so person has said that he has won first prize in singing competition, which itself is not relevant for the job, but then as the first achievement. So it means that probably his further achievements are even lesser than that. So I don't even want to go to look into that. So a lot of companies do initial filtering based on your resume. So keep these things in mind when you're building your resume. And I have more to it. So projects, are two types of projects are there. The first type of project is that you need to have some innovation built into it. Probably I myself had a project which I worked in Amadala, wherein that we are trying to understand if the professor is in her room or not, so that I don't have to go till her room to find that she's not there or she is in meeting with someone else. So we used RFID for that, and then we solved that issue. So it's a small project, but then it solved a huge problem for a lot of us. So that's kind of project you can do. Otherwise the second type of problems are where you learn a lot. The same Amuda lab, one of my friend has built an entire um, application, a full-fledged application which will take care about who is logging in, who is logging out, and at what time, who are taking what instruments, about all of that according to that lab. So that in that process you would have learned a lot. So the second type of projects are not are other projects where you learn a lot. Probably you're saying that you're developing a mean stack application and you're taking care of a lot of things in there, and you will learn a lot in the course of doing those projects. So these two kinds of projects are um, very good examples what you can use in your resume. And probably you need to start using your LinkedIn and GitHub a lot, because LinkedIn is a place where you express yourself professionally. You will get to show your skills and talents to the interviewers even before the actual interview, right? So it could be the place where you can just directly get a call from a recruiter saying that your interview is scheduled upon so and so date. do you want to reschedule? So how good is that? Like, you don't applying, but an interviewer pinging you and saying that this is your job opportunity and this is a interview opportunity or something like that. So definitely, if you like this, even this session, if you liked it, just go ahead and start with LinkedIn, open it and just create a post on it and tag me. I'll be happy to react to that. And GitHub is why, because some of my juniors have got placed into Microsoft, at least not placed, like they have got an internship opportunity or an interview opportunity basically, which the conversion of that was very good. But for that, the shortlisting was solely based on GitHub for some people. So they just saw the GitHub profiles, saw their other projects. If they're deployed, they went to that, they had a readme files and all that. So they know that this guy has some credibility, and they didn't have a single round of interview before they are offering the interview, like they are offering the internship. So definitely, during these days, a lot of interviews happening online, and GitHub is a nice way for them to validate, because you have all that contribution graph saying that how active are you in development and all that stuff. So do I have any more slides which are relevant? Yeah, these are some interview tips. If you want, you just have to go ahead and take a screenshot of this. I don't want to go through all this text. This is a, I think, a comment which I wrote on LinkedIn. So and I just want to tell this to you guys. So just go ahead with these. So if you are these are some things that, if you're going to attend an interview in near future, these are some tips for you. And that's it. Any questions, I'm open for them.
So I have one question that if we are changing the career, so according to that, how can we change our resume? Like what fields do we need to change?
So a lot of companies these days have a model which will determine or basically score your resume. So what do they mainly focus upon is that, do you really have the skills required for this? One thing is definitely that, do you really have the skills that are required for this job? So that is when you want to start an understanding. You will go through the job description of that job, and then you will try to understand what are the things required, and you'll have, if you have the relevant skills on projects, you will just put them top. So you will reorder your projects in a way that suit the job description and even your skills also. If you're not confident, then it's fine, but then if you're confident, you want to move them up, because then the interviewer understands that you are a better fit for this job than your previous resume. So in that way, you have to do some juggling. And if you thought that you have done so many projects and you have left out something, but that project is more important to that new job profile, you will put them in, and you will let other thing go out. So that's such kind of things. But then I always have some kind of versioning for my resume, wherein I'll just, whenever I have done a project, I'll add it to that, and I'll just save it, so that I know that how frequent. It also helps me to keep in track about how I am progressing during my college life as well.
Okay, we have one question from the audience. It's from Sanskar Gupta. I have heard that tech giants, especially FAM, don't hire freshers as MLAI engineers. Is it true?
No. There are specific jobs. So definitely you should understand that ML and AI engineers are not very huge in number. So that's the reason you might have come to this conclusion that they don't hire it. But if your resume is it, like, there are certain ways in which you can join as an ML and AI engineers. Even after you come and join in, and then you can shift teams wherein your title could be ML and AI engineers. So that's also possible. So it's not like they don't hire it, but the opportunity itself are not like in huge numbers compared to SDE roles. So that's why you might get into this intuition. But even freshers can be hired as MLAI engineers, given that they have those relevant skills.
Thank you, Harsha. One more question I would like to ask you. So everyone have this doubt in their college life that there are how many internships are sufficient to get a good job, or is there like minimum one, or if we don't have any internship, does only the skills, is it sufficient to get a good job?
I didn't have any internship before. I was just working in that research lab in my college. So I don't say that internships are a must, but then definitely if you have time and you have got that opportunity, go ahead and grab that internship opportunity. There's nothing stopping you. Like if you are if you're not planning it, then it's fine. If you're not planning to go for internship and you want to learn something, then it's fine. Otherwise, if you think that you're good with BSA, you have enough projects, you just want to add one more column to your resume, then definitely there is nothing stopping with you. But it's not like number, but it's a quality and where you're working also, like the kind of work you do there and also the company itself. So these things might imagine two guys with same exact skills and all that, but then one guy has internship, then he might have a little bit of edge, but it's not like groundbreaking or something. It's not like groundbreaking edge or something.
Okay, so regarding the resume, is it very important to have? What are the key points of writing a cover letter, or is it important, or we can just skip it? Cover letter.
By cover letter you mean?
The we put a letter no, with resume if you are referring to a country, a company.
Okay, okay, that one.
So, what important points we can have in it?
No, no. I personally didn't have never had this cover letter kind of thing. I just had a single page resume, just a single page resume. And when you're doing it online, most of the times they ask you to fill in their form. So I can't comment more on that. But then I'll get back to you if I know more on that. But then I never had it. I never felt the need to have it as well.
Okay, so when you were in your college life, so how did you manage your personal life and your career?
In college life, like you mean uh, normal life and then studies, you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the typical day would start at 9. I like our college starts at night 9 and it'll end at something like 3 or 4. And after that I went to Amada lab. So the research lab which I was talking about. So and I would come back at around 7 or something. And engineering, when you are attentive in your class, it doesn't require you to continuously work hard even after you come back from college. So even a day or two before exams will do just fine, if you're good with the basics and concepts that are taught in your class. So I didn't have such kind of pressure wherein I have to accommodate studies and I want to enjoy as well. I used to go out in the weekends outside and all that. So when you start understanding, like when you just don't take classes lightly, I think it will be a piece of cake to manage both.
Okay, so we have one more question. It's from Devansh. How could you please suggest something that I might be missing out on my GitHub username? His GitHub username is Devansh Rawat 15.
Yeah, probably Devansh, you can ping me on LinkedIn. You can shoot me up as a connection request, and I'll help you out there. So probably, like actually, I'm doing this session on all optimizing your GitHub and LinkedIn profiles. Maybe you can be a part of that. Let's take it offline. Yeah. But basically in GitHub profile, the first, at least the minimum thing which you need to have is your profile readme. Like the when someone hits your profile, you need to have a screen which tells about what your contributions are and all that about you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have one more question that's related to the personalities on career. Nowadays, there are a number of roles in the IT sector. They can be front end, back end developers, product managers, business analysts, marketers, etc. How to decide which role to pursue? Most of the people go on the going trend, like software engineer only. So, do you have any advice on this?
Oh, see, it's not like you have to go into SD role at the start itself. So, if you want in your college time, that's why you have 4 years to figure out what your interests are. So now, when you understand that, you can nowadays no one is stopping you to learn from something new. So just go ahead and start understanding what are the different things that are involved. What are the different things that I can learn. You don't have to go too deep, but just go on the uh, top level, and then you can just start looking for opportunities in that and then apply for it. And this decision, it's good that if you are doing it in earlier in career, but then even after you have come in and then you understood from your friends that there is a better option for you or which suits you well, then there is always team changing option.
Okay. We have one question from Anmol. How does Microsoft hires for working on their net kernel? NT
So
kernel.
on anti kernel, basically that's, I think he meant about the Windows teams. So it's not, there is only there is no separate Microsoft hiring for anti kernel, I believe, like for the Windows team, because some of my friends who have joined along with me are also working in Windows. So and definitely it's the common so once you get in, basically you will have an option to choose your area of expertise from this year, so where you want to work upon. So once you are in Microsoft, then they will give you an option on which you want to work upon, and then you'll be assigned to the team if that has that availability and need, basically.
Okay. So, would you like to share your experience, all your whole journey, how you got into Microsoft with the audience, so they can also have a view?
Okay, then I guess I need to you meant to say about the interview like interview
Yeah,
journey and all
yeah, yeah.
that? Okay. So, yeah, can you project it, Shakti?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the different ways. These are the first one is called as Techset Go. There you register yourself and you. So it's a pan India program wherein it's basically for hiring interns from across India. So it doesn't depend like if you are coming from tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3. Everyone is eligible for it. So you just have to go ahead and register it. It's around the year end, and I guess this year it's around the corner. Again, the registration is already over for this year, but you can have that in mind for your next year at least. So and it's for grads all over India. And then you'll have an online coding round. It'll, for me at least, this is my experience, it can change from year to year. I just had three basic questions, not basic, but then yeah, three DSA based questions, and obviously the fastest and most optimal wins. And the amount of time in which you solve the issue and solve the problem also matters. And here everyone can have a different problem, so they will distribute the problems randomly probably, or they have some algorithm, but basically you'll have, not everyone will have the same set of three questions. And after that, once you are shortlisted for it, then you will be called for an on-site pen and paper round, basically on-site rounds. And the first round in the on-site is pen and paper round. So there everyone, like, it's like a typical examination hall wherein you will be sitting, then they'll distribute the papers, and that in that everyone will have the same question, and you have to write the actual code for that using pen, and you will not have any ID or something. You have to write the code and not the pseudo code. And then if you have some comments, it's better, because maybe your logic is not that evident on first glance. Then you might want to add that comments that saying that this is what I aim to do it as, aim to do it here. So that way I'll have more probability. And then there are also error and output type questions, like what predict the output, predict the error kind of questions are also there. So after this done, they'll have a glance at your resume probably over here as well. And then they will shortlist you for that interviews. So for me it was three rounds of interviews, and three is not an it's not some a fixed number. It could change from person to person. I have a friend who has just had two interviews, and someone could have had four rounds of interview as well. And basically these are also mostly revolves around DSA and your interest. So when if you have an interest section in your resume, they will concentrate more and they'll try to club that with the DSA. For me it was not machine learning. There I think, yeah, there I had mentioned it as image processing, and they have clubbed DSA with with image processing, and they have asked a question in that way. So and also a project can also be discussed in one round of interviews, and there could be a single behavioral question, if not an entire round for it, but there could be a small part of interview for that. So this is the interview process, and once that is done, if you are selected, then they'll call you for 2 months internship. You'll give a project, and then pre-placement offer is the offer that once you have finish your degree, you can come back and work at Microsoft, and that will be depending upon your performance in that project and how you are able to collaborate between them, ask doubts and solve problems, how quickly you are able to solve problems, how proficient are you at your work, and how speed you are able to learn things and get onboarded. And obviously a good stipend and accommodation will be given. And for us, there was a follow-up internship of 6 months as well. Like once you got a PPO, then they'll say that if it's mandatory at your college, maybe you can come back for another 6 months and do your internship at your 8th semester. And this cannot happen every year, but I see that it's happening from my batch. Everyone is having the 6 month internship, basically last year and this year. And then yeah, you'll be an FTE, and that's how I am right now. Like you'll be part of Microsoft after that.
Thank you so much, Harsha, for connecting with us and sharing your experience. Also, for giving us an insight of machine learning. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. So now I would like to conclude our event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it's a hackathon, right? All the best for all the teams then.
Yeah. And I have mentioned the LinkedIn account of Harsha in the comment box, and also to his YouTube channel. You can go and subscribe it. And for new updates, you can visit our website on LinkedIn and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe our channel and follow it for further informations. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Sunday.
Yeah, same.